All right, so we are going to get started. A few things. This presentation is being recorded, so it could be uploaded to our YouTube channel and our Facebook channel. So just in case you have any friends or family that missed this presentation, they could watch it again on YouTube and Facebook. So my name is Nicole. I am one of the business coaches here at the BAC. The BAC stands for the Bay Area Entrepreneur Center, and we are part of Skyline College. So think of us as the second office of Skyline College. And I'm going to check the chat box real quick. Okay, perfect. I like to check it while I'm doing the presentation, just in case you guys are telling me you can't hear me or you can't see my screen. So Skyline College is a community college based in San Bruno. San Bruno is about 20 minutes south of San Francisco. So we're pretty much in the middle of tech company. Fun fact, YouTube is based in San Bruno, just in case you don't know. So today we are gonna go over Canva, pretty much just what is it, how you can use it for your business, and how to get started. Okay, and before we dive into Canva, I want to remind you guys, I think tomorrow you'll be getting an email from Eventbrite from us, just saying thank you, and you'll be getting a survey link. And the survey is about a program we are doing called the San Bruno Recovery and Assistance Program. You don't necessarily need to live in San Bruno to actually take the survey, but we would love it if you guys can. So it's just all about your business. It's like a 5-minute survey, 12 questions about what type of funding you have received, if you're currently open, what type of business you have, how many employees you have, it's all that. So please take it. Now, stop real quick. Okay, let me read the chat box. Thank you, Ling, for sending it. And then we're going to open up Canva very soon. So a reminder, put any of your questions in the Q&A box in the chat box, and we will answer them towards the end. All right, so Canva is this wonderful tool that was created a few years ago to actually just help you as business owners create beautiful graphics for your business. All of a sudden, I don't know if you guys realize, you start seeing your social media feed get filled up with these beautiful graphics that somewhat looks a little similar, and that was due to Canva. Canva created multiple templates to help business owners create everything that they need for their business, from social media to resumes to presentations, everything. So we're actually just gonna go into Canva and just go over, you know, where everything is at, and then maybe we could play around with it a little bit. So, share my screen. Do this. Sorry, you have to like do share and share. Okay. All right. So hopefully you guys can see this. Definitely put it in the chat box if you guys cannot see it. So I will be sharing with you guys Canva. This is the free version of Canva. So there's a free version, then there's paid versions. So of course, this is pretty much, if you were to sign up today after this presentation, you just put in your email address, you know, like any website, put in email, put in password, you could link it to your Facebook, link it to your Gmail account, all that. But once you sign up, this is what you get for free. And then you get a little bit more when you pay. But I figured we probably all are starting off with the free version. So when you sign up, this is the home screen. This is pretty much how it's gonna look. It's going to tell you everything that you can use it for. And it might feel a little overwhelming, but they give you a lot of different prompts on how to create a design. But let's just go over here. Right now, this is recommended for you. This is just templates they recommend for you. And it's really, they come up with templates that actually work with what you've created in the past. All your designs, that's just a wonderful way to begin. That will be, if you were to click on it, it just shows all the designs you've created. This was something I created for my magazine. This is something I created for a YouTube show as part of. So brand kit. This is something that if you were to upgrade, you could definitely add a little bit more. But for the free version, you can add up to 3 colors and some of your fonts. So this is wonderful, especially if you might have a team working on your social media, or maybe you want to bring on like a young intern and you want to make sure they're always using the same colors for your business. So this is where you could put 3 colors for free of your business. If you pay, you could put more colors, right? But this will help you make sure everyone's on the same page for your brand. You can upload your logos, all that good stuff. All your folders. Again, this is a wonderful way to just organize all your graphics. I'm not always the best at organizing all my graphics, but this is a wonderful way, especially if you have a team again, where you can put everything in one category. So it could be Instagram, it could be resumes, it could be menus, it could be menus 2019, menus 2020. Put it all there so that way it's easy for people just to, you know, grab it, make some edits, and move on. And then of course, trash is trash. And then shared with you is, so this is actually a lot of stuff my interns for my magazine, forgot to mention. I have a Latina Latinx magazine called Epifaniana, and with that, I have a team of 6. And our interns create our Instagram stories. So they create a lot of these graphics, and it's on their Canva account. But they could share the link with me, so then therefore I could just always see it, and I could go in and make edits or make comments for them to change, right? So it lives on theirs, and then they share it with me. Think of it as almost like Google Drive, where they created the content on their Google Drive, and then they just shared it with you. So now it's in your shared folder. Okay. And then down here, just your folders again, the ones you named. So let me see. Now let's go to recommended for you again. So the very top. So you could click on this blue button, this turquoise button called Create a Design. You could go down here and pick a design you want to create, or you could just type up here a design you want to create. So let's just go with something very simple. Let's do an Instagram post, and then we'll do maybe a resume. Are you guys still able to see the screen? Because I know sometimes if you like go to another slide, it doesn't show. Okay, thank you, Steve. Okay, so you're gonna click on Instagram post. It's blank like this, right? And you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not a graphic designer. I don't know what colors to use. I don't know what actually to use right now. This is where you'll start seeing all these wonderful templates, and just pick one that you somewhat like. It doesn't have to be 100% what you want, because you can make so many changes to that template. It doesn't have to look exactly like it is. But before we pick a template, I want to share with you guys all this. There's templates, then there's uploads. You guys are gonna see everything I do. Uploads is where you get to upload photos that you and your team have. You upload photos from your phone. You can upload photos from your computer. And you can also upload videos. So maybe you have quick, like 1-minute clip videos that you could upload. So that way you're not always using, you know, photos from stock photos, right? You're using your actual photos. So make sure you're also cleaning this up a bit, because Canva does have like a cap of like how much storage you could have. And I gotta get better at that. I deleted some things. But yeah, so this is where you could, where all your uploads will live. And then photos is just stock photos. So Canva has a lot of similar stock photos of Upsplash. And if you guys haven't heard of Upsplash, they're a free stock photo site. Like, definitely use them, especially if you don't have a lot of good quality photos. It's completely free. The photos are great, and you don't have to worry about copyright issues, right? So they have a lot of similar photos. So for example, like if you are looking up, you can see what I've been looking up, like a hamburger. Lots of photos of hamburgers will show up, and you would just pick the one that suits you best. A lot of these photos are free, but a lot of them you have to have the premium account to use. So if you start finding yourself always hitting that wall that everything you want to use, you have to do the premium account, just pay for the premium account for Canva. Okay, let me see if there's any questions. Oh yes, yeah, upsplash or unsplash. I will find it and I will put it in the chat box. Okay, so elements, very simple enough. They're just really cool little elements, like really great, fun, little cool graphics. I love using elements, especially if I want to be ambiguous with my design. Maybe I don't want to use a photo because I don't want people to maybe assume because they don't see themselves in the photo that maybe whatever I'm talking about doesn't align with them, right? You know, because sometimes, you know, it's all about like inclusion. So the graphics are great for that. They sort of allow me to play around and really give my readers for the magazine a more inclusion feel. Okay, thank you, Steve. All right. And then text. I love this conversation you guys had in the chat box. Text, again, very simple thing. It just shows you all the different types of text you can use. You could also just edit the text when you're in the template. But this is also just fun just to look at because, you know, you might be seeing a lot of this going around, this type of text on social media, that very almost with the shadow box kind of light. And then my voice goes in and out, guys. This is really fun right now. Again, with all these texts, they don't have to look exactly how they look. You could change how far apart you want the letters and the words to be. And then there's music. I don't use a lot of music in my posts. I use a lot of music in my videos and when I'm editing videos for YouTube and stuff like that, but not really for my posts. And then there's videos. They now have really cool few-second videos, very general videos, right? I sort of think this is great when you're just trying to give the ambiance of something. Like if your brand is about working out outside, then you can use a beach video, along those lines. And then just colors. If you just need a color background, again, this is great because they're always going to have your brand colors up here. And then any recent colors you have used. But now let's go back to templates. And I'm sorry if I'm really taking it to the basics. Is I don't like to assume anything. I like, you know, I want to make sure I'm covering all the bases. So the cool thing about Canva is a few months ago, they actually started incorporating more like video posts for social media, which I think is like finally, because we all know for Instagram and for Facebook, any social media, your account does better when you have video. So let's just click on this, right? This has nothing to do with my brand. So it's easy as just clicking and then it auto populates, right? You don't have to drag it. And then you can start just playing around with it. You're gonna click on here, just the color, it's the background color. And you could just pick whatever color you want. So let's just go with this pink. And then, as you guys can tell, I live in pink. I think I did that in my Tuesday presentation. And then you click on the photo. You know, you don't like that photo. Maybe that photo is not for you. Maybe you are just not a mountain person. You are a beach person. Okay, so then you're just going to actually drag that there. So for this, you're gonna have to drag the photo because if you were just to click on it, it just does that, right? And so it sort of hides things, right? Hit delete. Then you're gonna click on this. It could be in the middle or you can move it around. You could also, again, change the color. So let's say you want it to be like this blue. Oh, that's sort of pretty. And don't want it to be too, maybe you want it to be really transparent. Oh, I forgot to mention these. This transparency, so as you can see, it helps. Sometimes you want, you know, the transparency to be pretty low, so things could, for the feeling that you're trying to give. Ungroup right here just means everything is grouped together right now. So when you try to move something, it might all move together. So especially if you want to make a lot of tiny little edits to like different texts, you want to just ungroup so that way everything is in its own little box. So that way it's not, when you're making one change to like the larger text versus travel the world, it won't make the same changes to green aerial tours, right? And then again, you can move this around. So right here it says block. This is what makes it a video. So even though it's a 5-second video on your Instagram, when you upload it, it would show as a video, and that would just help your algorithm. So you're gonna click on that, and just so you can see, click on block, and that's the video. It has nothing to do with the photo. You're not talking. So especially if you need to add more video to your social media and you don't necessarily like being in front of the camera, or you don't necessarily have content that you feel like is camera ready, you could do a lot of things like this where it shows as a video, but it's not really a video. It's just a text coming in different ways. So you could do fade, where it just fades in, tumble, yeah, whatever you guys want to choose. They only have a few options for free, and then you do the paid version, they have a little bit more options. But this again is, I know when I did the Instagram presentation, a lot of people had get uncomfortable doing video because they just don't feel comfortable in front of the camera. I hear it every day, it's totally fine. So this is also just, again, a really quick tool that you can use. So that way you can have video on your social media without actually having to be in front of the camera. All right, so once you're done with it, and here, let's go over text real quick. So I like using this text a lot. That's sort of on brand. Then I'll go back to here, and I want to use bold. You can also change the color of the text. So if you want it, we'll say it like that. And then you can have effects. So this comes into play, especially if you want to do some really cool things to your wording. So, oh, that's pretty. I like that one. So you can do neon and you can do different intensity. So as you guys can see, you could definitely play around with Canva for hours on end, but you want to give yourself a time limit, right? Okay. Then when you click on download, it's going to download already as a video. But let's say you don't want the video. You just like the photo as is. You could download it as a PNG, a JPEG, or a PDF, whatever you want. So, and as you guys can tell, it says video and gift are still in beta because again, they just rolled this out. But for me personally, I've been using it and it works. I don't see it as too, there's not a lot of kinks in it. Okay. Now, share real quick. Any questions so far before I dive, just give more examples on Canva? And then I'll read a little bit about you. Oh yeah, I've used Pixabay as well. And thank you, Naomi, for sharing that site of Burst Shopify. I have not used that. I love it. You guys are sharing information with each other. Okay. All right. So let's get back into Canva. So again, you can use this for social media posts, but you could also use this to create a resume, which I know it seems for some professions, maybe using Canva to create your resume might not be the best choice because maybe your profession is a little bit more traditional, right? And so, for example, my husband, he works in tech, but he works in finance, right? And so he can't be extremely colorful with his resume, so it has to be just straightforward. And so he doesn't really use Canva to create his resumes. But myself, of course, I work in the creative field. All I do is social media, and I have a magazine, and then I speak at events. So I can use Canva because the audience I'm talking to appreciates the creativity. Now, resumes in Canva can only be downloaded as PDFs, so they cannot be downloaded as Word. However, I feel like that's not a big problem because most companies want you to send them your resume as a PDF, right? No one wants a resume as Word because everyone has very, very different Word, like, what's that term? Like some people might have Word from like 2008 and some people have Word from now. Okay? So you can start blank, but I always suggest starting with the template because that way it eliminates some of the work you have to do in the beginning. And the great thing about using Canva for a resume is we all have that problem where we want to tell everything about our life stories. And sometimes our resume can be like 2-3 pages long, which it should never be. It should be 1 page. So you want to cut back that information. And Canva's templates do a wonderful job of actually giving you different compartments of where you could put that information. So we'll just click on one, and again, we'll play around with it. And then after this, we're gonna go over menus. But let me know what you guys wanna know about Canva. Like, put it in the chat box. Like, what exactly do you wanna see? Okay. So as you guys can tell, it's a little small, so you just can make it a little bit bigger. So right away, this photo here, you know, it's a Canva. They have the watermark, so use a different photo. So for this resume template, they're saying you could use a photo of yourself there if that works for your business, or you can sometimes just put your logo there, or you cannot put anything. So let's say you just don't want to use that box whatsoever. You can just hit delete. And you can just leave this as is, or you can make this go a little bit longer and start putting in some more information. Okay. And then this is when you can start playing around. So you could change, again, the font, you could change the color. So this is also great, especially if you're in the creative field, you know that your brand color, so pick one that sticks to your brand. Or if you don't know really what your brand color is, pick a color that you tend to wear the most. So if you are going in for an interview, even if it's virtual, pick the color that aligns with what you wear. So if you tend to wear a lot of blue button-up shirts, then use blue, because like real talk, blue is probably like your color because you tend to buy it the most. When you go to the store, you see blue, you buy it. So that's probably your color. And then they have wonderful ways like this where you can show your core skills. They have in this template, they have this design where it's sort of just like a graph, which is pretty cool. So again, as you can see, they fit all that information in very, very small like boxes. And then they have the contact details down here, and you could change that. So all of this you could change. But I want you guys to know that you could also use Canva for resumes. This is another one. So if you didn't like that template, let's say you started working on it, but you didn't like it, just click on another template and it auto populates again. So this is a very bold one. This is, you know, a beautiful background black. When I think of this, I think of a like artsy type of student. And this one, they give like really nice, clear boxes of like, this box is career, this box is education, and this box is technical skills. So you can play around with that as well. Perfect. Let's stop share and let's see the chat box. Okay, you create an interactive PDF in Canvas, like add hyperlinks to your resume or media. I believe you can. Good question. Let's see if we can, because I never had to do that, but let's try. And then let's see. So Steve, I'll answer your question. And then Lynn, I'd like to know more about creating custom sized documents and also how to create a document with bleeds for printing. Okay. Perfect. So let's answer Lynn's question first, and then Steve, get into yours. With custom designs, so you're gonna wanna put the dimensions that you definitely want for your design. So I'm just gonna put like 625, I don't know, by 5. I'm making up stuff, guys. And let's see what that looks like. Awesome. And so they have some templates for you, and then you can start actually designing what you need to design in with your dimensions. And when you download it, oh, let's do that. Okay. I would actually play around with Canva and see, like, send me an email, ask me the question, because I want to make sure that it could print. I know now you could do custom sizes, but I want to make sure, and you know what? I'm not sharing my screen, I realize. Realize that. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Let me go back. Move this. Home. So let's go back. All right, Lynn. So you're going to click on custom dimensions, and they have it in different sizing. So you could just pick whatever you want. Put in the width and the height that you need. Like I said, I put 625 and like 500. Create a new design, and then it will pop up. However, I don't know about it being able to bleed off the paper. So I know you can download it for it to print and download as PDF to print or JPEG. But send me an email to remind me to look that up, and then I will do a quick search, and then I will answer you by tomorrow. But yes, you can create your own dimensions. I think that's pretty cool because I know we all have different things we have to create, and we want to make sure that we could do it all in one little area. So that's pretty cool. I've never actually had to do that because I sort of just use templates, but that's nice. They Canva let you pick your own dimensions. Is there a certain dimension size that you want me to try out right now to see if it works? Put that in the chat box. And Steve, your question. So Steve, you want to know if you create interactive PDFs in Canvas like a hyperlinks to your resume. So you just want to see, like, if you were to create a resume in Canva, can you put a link in there so people can click on that link to go to like a portfolio or a website? I want to make sure if I'm getting your question correct. Okay, good. I can read correctly. Okay, let's try that out. I know you could put websites in, but I guess it's because every time I share it, I'm just sharing a PDF. So I've never actually had to share the link, but I'm talking out loud here, guys, but let's just give this a try. And then there was one more question. Oh, okay. Like your phone number. Okay. So like if they were to open up your resume, they could click on the phone number and then it calls you. Got it. I like these very detailed questions, guys. I appreciate them. So here is the phone number. Let's oh, you can. So let's just put in hold on, I gotta open up another tab and I don't want to lose you guys, so let me open that up real quick. So what I'm doing, I'm opening up a tag so I could copy that website link and then put it in to Canva to see if it works. So let's go back, share. Okay. So I'm just gonna put a link here, apply. All right. So I just put the link, I highlighted it, whatever text you wanted to link. And then these 3 dots here, you'll see a link here. And then I just put the link from my magazine because it's the easiest one. And then let's see. So let's download this one and see what it prompts us to download it as. Let's just download it as PDF print. Oh, and you can crop marks and bleed. So I think that answers your question. Looks like you. And the reason why I'm downloading it is I want to make sure, like, if you were to send this resume out, would the link still stay? So we're learning something new together, guys. Okay. All right. Were you guys able to see that at all? Cool. We've learned something new together. I love it. That's awesome. So you guys can put hyperlinks, which is great because then that way you can put hyperlinks to like a portfolio, maybe like your phone number. There might be some issues with that, I could just think, but yay. Thank you for asking that question, Steve. So now I learned something new. All right, now Naomi, I am trying to set up, I wonder if you could do that with the image. We will play with that next. Let me answer Naomi's question. I'm trying to set up a header for my Facebook business page. So I was able to create one in Canva, but the image is coming up fuzzy. I use PNG, which was suggested. Any ideas? Oh, figure it out. Try it as a PDF and it looks great. Yeah. Sorry, got there to the end. Oh, let me see if there was anything else. It's okay. So yeah, so sometimes if the image is fuzzy, there's a couple things. One, maybe the image you uploaded wasn't high quality. Two, maybe the template you used automatically has some kind of filter to the banner. So maybe like you notice your photo was like darker or has some kind of dreamy kind of effect to it. So click on the image and you will see like filters or effects and just click on none and see if that makes change. I could show you that in a little bit, but let's try this hyperlink on an image. Because it would be cool. Let's see. Oh, you can. Yay, you can hyperlink to an image. All right, so let's actually download this again because I'm always trying to make sure things work before I tell you guys to do this, and see if you were to click on the picture, does it go to the website? I'm not about to have you guys like leave and then it doesn't work when you get off. Let me see, any other questions? Okay. Thanks, Dave, for answering. All right, so you guys missed it. I put the hyperlink, I clicked on the image, and then there's a little hyperlink image to the side of Canva. So just put the link there, and then I downloaded it to make sure it worked, and boom, you click on it and it does take you there. That's pretty cool. Nice. So again, unlike when you can highlight a text, click on these 3 dots, and then you'll see the hyperlink image. For an image, it's actually over here. And then again, same thing. Okay. Yes, so this recording you would definitely be able to view later. It's gonna be on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. Ling, if you by any chance can do this, can you actually share our YouTube channel link if you know where it's at? Chad sent us the link earlier. Hopefully you can. But if not, just look up the Bear Entrepreneur Center on YouTube. You'll be able to see it there. Thank you, Ling. So Ling's sort of like our little producer behind the scenes, guys. Okay. Now I just want to share with y'all, let's actually answer Naomi's question real quick when I was talking about the filters, because I actually wasn't a bad photo per se. It was like a weird kind of coloring to it. So, okay. So for example, this template, you guys can see the photos, right? These photos have this very kind of like dark, sort of like, they're not very bright photos. They're sort of dull photos, okay? And let's say you want to use some very, very bright photos. So I'm actually just going to use my friends here. Okay, I'm just going to put them here. Hopefully this example works, but click on the photo and just make sure always clicking the non-filters. Sometimes what will happen is when you put the photos up, upload them to a template, they will automatically have the filter that the template had. And so sometimes it might be like one of these filters and you might not want that look at all. So just go to non, and then maybe you could choose a different filter if you want later. And you could just click whatever one you want. So epic, or yeah, and I probably should let you guys know that that's what filters are. They automatically have these filter colors. The reason also you might want to use filters, just in case you're using Canva for social media, is a little tidbit. If you were to create your Instagram post on Canva, you download it and then you upload it onto a social media managing apps like Social Sprout or Planoly. I know, go with me, it's a little tangent. Anything like that, social media. Because they auto post your post, you won't be able to actually use any of the Instagram filters. So if you actually need to use a filter so that way you have a consistent look, definitely use the filters in Canva so that way your photos don't all look different. More questions? Awesome. Thank you, Ling, for sharing the link. And yes, if you are a student, you could get Canva Pro for a year. I love it. I love that students can get stuff for free. Also, if you're a student, you get Amazon Prime. My sister's still in college, so I'm using her Amazon Prime. Okay. It's okay. She uses my Disney Plus account. It's all about sharing, guys. Okay, so let's actually go into menus. I just want to share with you guys, again, menus. Some of you might have a restaurant. If you so again, you create your menus here. The really cool thing about this is I know a lot of people that have restaurants or cafes or bars, people aren't coming inside, right? People are doing a lot of virtual orders, and you might be redoing your website, or you might be redoing your mobile app, whatever it may be. It's really cool to create a menu here on Canva so it has the same color, the same look of your restaurant, and then that way you could have, you know, something new every few months, a few weeks on your website. You can easily update your resume here in Canva. By the way, everything in Canva gets saved, and then once you make changes, you can't, like, it'll just save those changes, right? It won't show you the last one, but everything's here. So if you, again, have a team, just give them all the same login so they can all work on like the same document. So let's just play around with this one. I actually sometimes use the menu outline instead of, because I don't have a restaurant, so I don't use it for an actual menu, but I've used one where I created sort of my a la carte menu for my social media services. So I do social media strategy on the side. And so I actually use this because I sort of like the format of a menu. And so people can pick and choose what type of services they want. So again, you don't have to use these templates for what they actually tell you to use these templates for. But again, play around with it, pick your colors. So what Canva will also push you to do as a business owner is to figure out your whole branding, right? What's the overall look of your brand? What type of fonts do you actually gravitate towards? What type of colors do you gravitate towards? What type of feeling do you gravitate towards? So the more you know about your brand, the more it'll be easier to create stuff on Canva, I feel. Hope that makes sense. Okay. So we're getting towards the end here. I hope you guys all learned a little something new. And let me, the next workshop will be next Thursday. So every Thursday at 6, we have a workshop. And this next week is going to be how to use Etsy. And so be me again, maybe with a guest. So we're going to, so stay tuned for that on how to actually use Etsy successfully and how to start at 6. And that's it. Let me see if there's any other questions. So will there be reach target audience? Yes. Okay. Thank you, Naomi. I really appreciate it. And then CY. The target audience, we did a target audience workshop a few weeks ago. It should already be on a YouTube channel. If it's not, I'm going to double check, ask Chad where it's at. But I know we did it a few weeks ago, and so we definitely will do it again because we know it's a popular one. We did it a few weeks ago and a few months ago, so we know it's a very popular audience topic. So yeah, if you would like us to do the reach target audience workshop again, be more than happy to. I could also, again, send me an email. I have the presentation because I led the how to reach your target audience. So I could actually just send you the slides if that's also helpful, because the information differently. So it's pretty much it. But thank you all so much for being here, for joining us on a Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know you guys can be anywhere else. You choose to be here because you are trying to improve on yourself and your business. So I applaud you for that, and thank you so much for being here. All right, send me any questions you guys have via email. Thank you so much, Stephen, for being so participant. I love it. Thank you. You're welcome. So see you guys all next week. Have a beautiful holiday weekend, and thanks. Bye.